I would like to have a brief introduction what we are going to cover in this particular training. The very first thing that we will do, the topics or TOC, the table of content for this training that we will follow. Maybe any topic can start in the middle or there can be a different arrangement, but perhaps we will be covering each and every aspect here. So generally we start with the introduction part, which is the very first topic as usual for everything. So introduction to SAP, that will be our very first thing. Second thing that we will be covering here will be the data dictionary, where we use to create the tables, maintain the data, generally create and maintain the data definition. This is what it is used. Third is our basic ABAP programming, where we learn how we can do the programming and all those parts. So basic syntaxes and syntaxes and events and features. Fourth is all about modularization. So modularization thing is there. So modularization techniques. Once we cover the modularization technique, then we are simply going to move on to the next topic. What will be the next topic, Kunal? ALV reports, correct?
Yes, sir.
Then we see the module pool programming, object-oriented programming, very interesting and perhaps the most important thing. So object-oriented programming. Using this, we will be seeing the data migration. So data migration, where we'll be focusing mainly on BAPIs and BDCs. Some part of enhancements and IDOCs. A basic overview will be there on these two things. They are already there in the system from last 20 years. Once it is done, we will go for smart forms and then we will jump to our second phase of the training, which is OData services, which will start with the OData services for building APIs for consumption in front-end application. Front-end application. Yeah, in front-end application. So once this part is done, once this OData service is done, we are going for the next part. So there we'll start with the HANA. So HANA basics, the feature of our new database and why it is so popular. Lots of concept like row store, column store. Yeah, column store, ways, new things will come here. Then we will be seeing the new way of ABAP programming mainly here. So new ABAP programming, new ABAP syntaxes, where we will be discussing the 7.4 and 7.5 version of the system, right? Once this is done, we will see the HANA box and its components and native SQL also, some part of native SQL on HANA. Following it, there is a concept called ABAP database connectivity, SQL script, AMDP, CDS views, and CDS entities. And the last one, ALV with integrated data access. Data access. Integrated data access. So these will be the topics that we are going to cover in our this end-to-end live training. Any concern here on this from anyone? Any questions?
No, sir.
Divya, anything, any concern from your side?
No, sir.
Yes, okay. Meanwhile, this particular page or website that I'm writing, it will be live for all of you, and I'll be sharing it once the class will be over today. So, very first thing,
Okay, sir.
all right, Divya, from your side, I want to understand what do you know about this SAP? So, introduction to SAP. Would have you have worked some on the security part? So, from what, your point of view, what do you understand about it?
Uh, have done only from the security side. So I have
Mm-hmm.
worked from this is security roles. That means not creation but applicable roles allotting, and from the audit side, a clearance of the roles. That means credentials, providing the credentials to the
No, 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 no.
client. Yeah,
See, I'm not asking like what you have done. I just want to understand from your point of view, what do you understand about SAP? That's a simple thing, correct?
understand in the
Okay,
sense.
so I am say, let's say somebody asking what is SAP? How will you explain this? That's what I want to understand from your perspective. Okay, no problem. Let's try to explain it in a simpler way. So say
Okay.
here, suppose I have one company, right? Let's take one hypothetical situation. I have one company. Let's say I am the founder of it company, and let's name this company your company only, Capgemini. So we are in the initial phase. Suppose we have we are just in the development phase. Okay, just started this company. So we are just in the development phase. So at that time there will be very less number of employees, right? Budget will also be less. We will don't have much budget, and will not have much business at that time, right? Very new company is there. Just take a situation. Suppose I am a new company. I have a new company. This company name, okay, let it be not Capgemini. Let's make it some XYZ. So we have just started this company, and we have, let's say, 5 to 10 employees, and our business is easily getting managed by me only as a founder, because I have only 10 employees. I don't need any other people to waste my money. So it is easily getting managed by me. I am able to, let's say, I am able to manage all the data of the company, maybe via Excel or Google Sheet. Correct. Now, over the period of time, the company started to grow, and eventually, let's say, we have 500 plus employees, or let's say 1,000 plus employees. Okay. We have just started to cross some bigger numbers. Suppose we have a business of over 1,000 plus crores now, correct? We are just taking a hypothetical situation. So for any company, it becomes mandatory at this situation to have a ERP software, which can manage the business, which can automate the business, where you can check all the data, where you can see whatever things are happening in the company, what are the materials, what are the billings are being done, what are the invoices is being raised, right? Each and every department, how it is running. Every company requires a ERP software for its management. This ERP, so for any company which started to grow, it becomes mandatory to have a ERP software. It is not possible for a single person or a team to directly manage it or check it from Google Sheet. It will become really difficult. You will not be able to grow because time is important. Time is money, right? If I will invest my 9 hours of working only checking the Google Sheet, we will eventually will not be able to make a big empire. So for this XYZ company, after some time, it becomes mandatory to build an ERP software or to purchase any ERP software which is there in the market. So what is this ERP software, right? Let's find it out. So ERP, so this ERP word stands for yeah, Enterprise Resource and Planning. So enterprise resource and planning. Enterprise means any company. Resources, all the resources like money, human beings, everything is a resource for the company. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Right? Human beings, funds, we have already included infra, security, and all those stuff. Planning, effective management or effective utilization. These three things are very, very important. So ERP is nothing but enterprise resource planning. It is a software. It is a software which is used to manage the entire organization. It is a software which is used to manage the entire organization so that the business can be automated and evolved, and the company can evolve rapidly. Yes or no? Is it clear for everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Right?
sir.
So for every company, it becomes mandatory. So for our XYZ company also, we went for market. We went to the market for ERP software. All right. So let's go back, way back around 1970. So I'm just going there back around 1970. Yes, around 1970. I'm just going very back from now on. We are not born till now. So around 1970, at the time, also lots of companies were there, and there were very less ERP software in the market. So what actually happened? Five former employees of IBM company left their job and built an ERP software in Germany, in Waldorf, Germany, which they named it SAP. So five former employees of IBM named and created an ERP software in Waldorf. Waldorf is a place in Germany, and they named this software called SAP in 1972. So this SAP was built by its parent company. The parent company for this SAP product was called SAP AG, and the product they built, the product they named it as SAP, right? So when the first version of SAP came, 1972, right? So over the period of time, there has been lots of evolution here. So evolution of our SAP software. What has been the evolution here? Let's find it out one by one so that accordingly we can also understand how much it can help us as a job or even as a business if we are building something. So evolution of SAP software. The first version of SAP software came in 1972 and it was called R1, real-time architecture, real-time one-tier architecture. Only one-tier architecture was there. So data was also getting stored at the same place, at the same place, at the same layer. User interaction was also there on the same layer. And the logical component, logic part was also there. So this particular thing was eventually causing lots of problems, as if everything is getting done, suppose in a single room and there are 100 people, how difficult it will become for there to survive, right? Too much load will be there, right? So this particular thing was eventually causing lots of problem, heavy load on the application, very poor performance, and also security issue was there because the data was there on the same layer, anybody can access it. So eventually they evolved, and around 1980 they came with the second version of the SAP system, which was called R2, real-time architecture 2, or real-time two-tier architecture, two-layer architecture call it, or two-tier architecture, it will be same. Here they decoupled the presentation layer, not presentation layer, the application layer separately. So now what we see here, there becomes the application layer and then becomes the database layer. So this application layer, manual user interaction plus logic, and this database layer becomes the storage of data. Here data was being stored, right? Here data was being stored. Here data was being stored. Then again, here also one problem was there. Here my logic is there for building the application, and also user interaction is there. User is asking for input, taking the output, and all those part. So again, they also saw that this is also a not good feature, and they finally came with a three-tier architecture, which was called R3 in around 2002 or 2000. I don't recall the actual date, but around this era, they came with this R3 architecture, this third version of the system, which was called real-time three-tier architecture. Real-time three-tier architecture. What they did here, they decoupled the presentation layer out of the application layer. Out of the application layer, so that there can be less load on the application layer. Presentation layer, it becomes presentation layer, application layer, and database layer. So this guy became responsible for user interaction, that is taking input and getting output. This becomes for logic execution, for execution of logic, written code, and finally the database layer for storing the data. Storing the data. So this version of the SAP software, the third three-tier architecture, this version of the SAP software was called ECC, Enterprise Central Component. Enterprise Central Component. Everyone, is it okay? This version of SAP software was called ECC, the Enterprise Central Component. So, Divya, you might would have worked on this, right?
Yes, yes.
So that is the underlying architecture behind it. Then what you see here, at this time, SAP do not have any of their own databases. So the customers were using other databases from market. Lots of database are there. Oracle DB is there. MySQL is there. MS SQL is there. Sybase is there. So everybody was using lots of databases. Yeah. Everybody was using lots of their databases. Finally, also SAP made some improvement. So they came with their fourth solution. So in 2015 September, they came with their latest version, which we were working. It was called S4HANA, simplified fourth generation product. Here they came with their own database. They came with their own database, which was called HANA High Performance Analytical Appliance. High Performance Analytical Appliance, right? So here they came with their fourth generation product named S4HANA, mainly based on the database that they came, right? So that is our latest version, which we will be discussing in detail when we will move on to our second part of the training, which is ABAP on HANA training. Any confusion in the evolution of SAP software,
No, sir.
No, sir.
right? So generally, that's what you need to understand. You can work on SAP GUI also. You can work on Eclipse tool also. GUI has some limitation. Eclipse, everything will work in detail. Once we will move on to HANA part, there we can understand it better. So there is a simple difference between ECC and S4HANA. The ECC is the old version. ECC is the old version where SAP do not have any of their databases. S4HANA is their latest version where we are going to work on our HANA DB. And a new tool they also came, that part we will discuss. So they wanted to use a new tool. So they took out Eclipse from market, as Eclipse was free and open source, as Eclipse was free and open source, right? This is the evolution of our SAP software, right?
Yes. So basically, like we will write the code on Eclipse also.
Yes, yes. We can write the code on the Eclipse also in our coming sessions. We will discuss that. Right now, step by step, that will be easier for us to understand.
Yes.
Okay. So also again, GUI is also fine. You can just see here. If you go for your GUI, also you can check what is the database you are working. So if you go for any of the screen, go for system and status, and you simply check the database you will see you are working. Here you see the database system is HANA database, right? So that is my evolution. All right, let's move on to the ABAP then. What is ABAP? A very simple definition if you have to give for this ABAP is ABAP stands for Advanced Business Application Programming. Application Programming. So ABAP stands for Advanced Business Application Programming, right? Then what we see here, this is the SAP's programming language, which is this is the SAP's programming language, which SAP developed on their own. Mainly what we see here, they combined the feature of the object-oriented Java programming plus object-oriented C++ programming, and then the SQL capability to interact with the database. So they combine their capabilities and they built their own programming language. As whenever we are talking about a ERP thing, the job of any ERP software is to manage the business, increase the business, automate the business, right? So this is the SAP's own programming language called ABAP. This ABAP is a combination of all these things that we see here. Next thing is the entire GUI of SAP has been developed by this programming language only. By this programming language only. Getting my point, right? By this programming language only. So if you want to check, better way is open any of the screens that you have, and you just go there and check here in the behind. You will have your program that is being used. You can check and navigate. There is my ABAP program. All the definition, declaration, see here, right? So the entire GUI has been written based on this ABAP programming. Next thing, for every programming language, the very basic thing that we need. So for every programming language, the basic stuff that is needed is the runtime environment, which will provide the necessary things for the execution of that language of the code. This is mandatory for every programming language. Here also, so for this ABAP system, you are going to see we will be needing one runtime environment. The runtime environment needed for the execution of the ABAP code is provided by the application layer. Which one is going to provide the runtime environment? The application layer of this
Application layer.
three-tier architecture is going to provide the runtime environment. The three-tier architecture is there, and application layer is going to provide it. Correct? That is a general thing here. Next stuff is how does so there is a landscape which is followed for SAP projects. There is a landscape which is followed for the development of SAP project that we need to understand. So here, SAP has divided the system into mainly three systems. The reason is if everything will be done on the same system, and suppose due to some issue there is a failure or in the system, so there can be so much loss for any company. For any company. That is the situation here also. So what they have done, they have divided into three different systems. First one is your development system. Second one is your quality system. And then you have the production system. Then you have the production system. This system is the developers, mainly ABAPers. So the ABAP developers mainly here will have the access of the ABAP system or development system to build the custom applications to build the custom applications. Quality system. This is pure dedicated for quality testing. So there will be a separate testing team. So once the application will be developed here, it will be transferred to the quality team system with the help of the basis team. There the testing will be done. And then finally the live system where your application will run. Application will run. Where your application will run. Where your application will run. So three different systems are there. Now, how the data is transferred from one system to another system? So to transfer the application, so to transfer the application from one system to another, a transfer mechanism is needed. A mechanism is needed, and this mechanism is known as transport request. What we call it? What we call this thing,
Transport request.
right? So this is what it is called, a transport request. This is a mechanism which will help you to transfer the developed objects from one system to another system. So for transportation, it becomes mandatory. It becomes mandatory to store the data into the packages. To store the data into the packages. What is a package? So in your house, suppose you want to store a packet of biscuit. definitely you are going to use a container where you can store it. Suppose I want to store 1 kg of sugar. I will go for a container where I can keep it, right? So here also in the system, package is a container which is used to store the objects or developed objects, correct? Developed objects. So now what you see here, inside the SAP system, there are so many things. And it is a common practice. We can say we can't access each and everything from one screen only, right? So what SAP has done, SAP has created a shortcut so that we can directly navigate to our desired path or desired location. These shortcuts are called transaction codes. These shortcuts are called transaction codes. So transaction codes are nothing but a shortcut given by SAP. Also, we can also create our custom transaction codes based on our requirement. But whenever I'm talking about a SAP system, there are so many things. SAP has created shortcuts so that we can directly navigate to our desired location. Say I want to go to the creation of package, what I will do? So the transaction code to create a package is AC21. AC21 is the transaction code for the creation of the package, right? If I am talking about this transport request, the transaction code to create and maintain a transport request is SC09 or SC10. These are the standard things. SC09 or SC10. Any question here?
No, sir.
Where is it
No.
okay?
Yes, sir. It's okay.
So package is a container, and for going to any place inside the SAP system, we are required to follow a shortcut. These are called transaction codes, right? These are called transaction code. Okay. All right. So SAP provides a user-based license agreement. We can directly access it. If you want to access it, you are required to pass the credential of your SAP system here. Then and only then you will be able to access these systems. As we can see, this area is known as command bar. There you are going to pass your transaction code. Say I am going for SE11 for ABAP dictionary, SE38, and all those parts. So these are some of the basic things, right? So first of all, I will create a transport request for our learning. So as I know, we can go to SE09 or SE10. So I will get to SE10. And here I will go for this create button. There you can see my user ID is there. So I will create a workbench request for the development. I am telling you again, please recall it. Workbench request is the request which will be used for development of any custom object inside the SAP system. So always select a workbench request. Go for OK button. So for complete ABAP training, ABAP evening 7 p.m. weekends. Save it. There is your transport request. Now you can simply copy it. So you are going to press Ctrl plus Y here and select it. And now you can create your package where you are going to store anything. So you can just go for SE21 and create the package. But before that, interesting thing here, two things are there. As a developer, if we are developing anything, any custom application, the name will always start with either Z or Y. The name will always start with either Z or with Y. So that see, SAP has also created lots of standard application, lots of standard programs. So how we can discriminate them or differentiate them from custom application? That is why the name of the custom application should always start with Z or Y. And mostly in our case, mostly like 99% people only follow the Z naming convention. Now it's totally up to you, can start with Y also. So all the custom app or custom program, what if it is a custom object or object, the name will always start with either Z or Y. So we can also give here the name Z, Z, my ABAP training, Friday, Saturday, 7 p.m. This is the package name I'm giving to it. Create it. Package dot description, package for ABAP double training. A meaningful description is needed for creation of every database object that we have, so that any other developer can also understand what is the requirement for this package. Now you can click on this OK button. Automatically it is asking for the transport request. You can paste your transport request that you have created, or you can click on this F4 help and you can just see here, there is my transport request which we just created evening 7 p.m. here. So I can also double click and I can select it, and now OK button. So now my package is also ready. My package is also ready. So there is my package builder SE21. From here we can create and maintain our packages inside the SAP system. Right? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir. Clear.
It is okay. So these were the basic things that is needed for our training. Right? Now let's move on to our very first chapter that we have. Give me 1 second. I have one call. Yeah, sorry for the disturbance. Let's continue with our very first chapter we have is ABAP dictionary or data dictionary, or call it DDIC, call it whatever you want. So this is our very first chapter, the very basic of our ABAP programming, which is mandatory, which we are going to use it at different portion of it. So this is DDIC, stands for data dictionary, or also known as ABAP dictionary, aka ABAP dictionary. So this section is used for the creation and maintenance of maintenance of maintenance of the database objects like tables, views, domains, data elements, search helps, etc. Lots of database objects are there in the system. One by one, we will discuss them, create them, and use them. But this section, data dictionary, is used for the creation and maintenance of these things. The transaction code for this is SE11. SE11 is the transaction code which is used for the creation and maintenance of it. So if I go for that, just close this. And if I'm going for it directly to SE11, before that, Divya, do you know what is the use case of /n and /o?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So I'm going for SE11. There is my section ABAP dictionary here. See this, how many components are there? Total 7: view, data type, group, domain, search help, and log objects. Database table, right? Very first one. Start with the first one. What is a table? Anyone? What is a table?
The table that contains the row and column.
So a table, if we are talking about a table is a permanent storage inside the database where data can be stored in the rows and and column format. First thing, it is the permanent storage. Second thing, table is the only permanent storage of data. Other than this, everything will only be temporary. Only be temporary. Other than this, everything will only be temporary. The table is the permanent storage of data. Clear? Right? Okay. Table is the permanent storage of data. All right. Then when SAP created these tables, lots of standard tables are there. So at that time, they mainly divided the tables into two parts. into two parts. They mainly divided the tables into two parts. First one was called header table, and the second one was called item table. That is why we see the combination of header and item. So first one was called header table, second one was called the item table. Item table, item table mainly consists of, mainly what you are going to see here, mainly consists of line item data, and mostly in these tables, we will see, we will have, we will have more than one primary keys. Divya, what is a primary key?
which can be used anywhere in the, that means anywhere, and
Mm,
that's what
See,
yeah.
in our table, we can have the duplicate records also, right?
Yeah.
This primary key is always unique. Primary key is used to define the row uniquely. Row, call it row or record, whatever you want, call it. They used to define them uniquely. So for every table, there is always only one primary key. I'm saying the value of the primary key, the value of the primary key is always unique. So if more than one primary key are there in a table, there the combination of them will be unique. If there is only one primary key, the value will be unique in itself. Item tables mostly contains the line item data. There can be a possibility for more duplicate records. That is why what we see mostly in these tables, we will see we will have more than one primary keys. When I'm talking about header table, so this table mainly contains the main document information, and here we will have mostly only one primary key. Only one primary key. Header and item tables. So lots of standard tables are there. Lots of standard tables are there which you can take reference. Standard tables given by SAP for different SAP modules. SAP modules. This includes for sales order. We have the header table as VBAK. You can see the name is not starting with Z or Y. This is a standard component, standard object. So this is the header sales order. Then VBAP, item sales order. And I'm talking about second one, purchase order. We have the EKKO as purchase, document header, and we have EKPO as purchase line item. Two things. For material master, again, we have two main tables, MARA and MAKT. This thing you must remember. So general material master table, and then you see material description table. Material description table. right? So lots of other modules are there, and every module will have the header and item. So you can also see here, if I go to C11 and open any of the standard table, open it in display mode, and you see, for now, just forget this MANDT word, focus on this VBLN. What you see here, this is the key. How many primary key you see here?
Two.
Only one.
Two.
No, no, just forget the MANDT right now. How
One.
many primary key you see here?
One.
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 Other than MANDT, how many primary keys there? This is my sales document header data. If I am going for VBAP, the line item table, so slash OSC11, I will open the VBAP here. Check this. How many primary key you see here?
Two.
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 Other, right? That's what I
Yes.
said. Generally, in most of the line item tables, you will be seeing more than one primary keys. Header will mostly have one primary key. It depends from table to table, what is the management, how it was created based on the requirement, right? So again, SAP has divided them into two parts, and they are connected via foreign keys. So to maintain the consistency of data into these two tables, because both of these tables are belonging from the same thing, right? Both of these tables are of sales order only. So if it is there in the header, there is a possibility it should be there in the item also. So they are connected with the foreign key so that the consistency of the data can be maintained inside the system. So here foreign keys are used to maintain or to connect two different tables. For implementing foreign keys, it is mandatory to have a common column in these two tables. Common column in these two tables. Is it clear? Foreign key and primary key.
Yes.
Divya, is it okay?
Yes.
Yeah, right. So that's the thing here. So to understand it in a more better format, what we are going to do, we will have our own tables also. So let's open it. I will show how we are going to create these tables in a better format. So suppose I also want to understand it, how these tables are created. Generally, this is how you are going to get a functional requirement. So there is my header table where I want to store my employee data. There is my item table where I want to store the project allocation for this employee data. You can see for each one we have 3, 3, 6, 7 columns. Other than the client number, we have 6 columns only, right? So we have these two things, employee and project, right? Which we want to create. Now, let's understand how we are going to create any of the table as a developer. Creation of tables, right? Creation of these tables. So whenever you get a requirement to create a table, the first question that should always arise in your mind is, what will be the domain for each column, and what will be the data element for each column? What should be the first question, guys? What should be the first question that should always arise in our mind? What will be the domain and what will be the data element? Are you getting my point?
Yes, yes, sir.
What is domain? What is data element? Right? Why these two things are so important? So for every column, domain tells the technical characteristics, characteristics like the type of data which we will store there, the type of data which we will store there, right? The type of data can be data type. So say I want to store name, so it can be character, string kind of data. So this domain specifies what will be the data type. Then we have data element. So this guy tells, sorry, domain specifies data type and length. So length of the maximum length of the maximum length that we will be storing here. Storing here, right? Maximum length that we will be storing here. What is data element? So data element tells us how this column will be visible to the customer or end user. How the column will be visible to the customer and end user. These domains, so domains are finally stored inside the data element only. So here you define the field label where you specify how the label will be there for each and every column. So here we specify field labels. So domains are finally stored inside the data element. Domains are finally stored inside the data element. So you can simply call it data element is the combination of domain plus field label. This is the basic requirement for creation of a table. You see, we have got this. Here we can see for this each and every column. Right now, just forgot client number. Let's focus on other things. Employee ID, name, department, manager, salary, and currency. So here we see the data type is character. We want to store a character value. And the length, maximum length, the system wants is 3. You see, right? So we need to create a domain and data element for each and every column here. Again, I'm saying forgot the client number right now. We will focus on rest of the columns. Once we will start the creation of table, we will discuss this guy. So employee ID, the data type is character and length is 3. Correct. Let's create for us. I will go to SE11 plus an SE11. And here we have our domain radio button. You can see here, I will select it and I will give here domain employee ID. I will go for create button. Okay, it is already there in the system. Let's give a different name. Domain. Once you will click on create button, this section will appear. This section will appear. As usual, pass a meaningful short description for each of your data objects so that anybody can understand why we have created it. So here I will give employee ID. Then it is asking for data type. What is the data type we need? Character. So I will come here, I will click on F4 and I will select here character. And the length is 3 and I will press enter. Press enter. Now click on save button to save it. So once you are going for save button, it will ask for the package, the container in which you want to save your object. The container in which you want to save your object. Is it the same package which we have created? I'm just pasting it here. Yes or no? Is it the same package which we created? Everyone,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes.
I'm just pasting it and I
Yes.
will click on this save button here, save. Then it will ask for the transport request. I will pass my transport request and save it. So a very important note point before creation of everything, a note point here. So a note better, we should write it here. Whenever we create any of the data objects, any database objects, we are required to do three things. Control plus S to save the object, Control plus F2 to check the consistency, whether it is okay or not, and Control plus F3, very important, activate the object. Guys, if your object is not activated, is not in a active status, you can't use it anywhere else. You can't use it anywhere. So it is mandatory to have all the objects in active status. So here you see right now it is activate new in status. So we can go for this shortcut or you can click on this icon Control plus F2 to check the inconsistency. No inconsistency found. Now I will activate it. So activate Control plus F3 or click on this activate icon. The object will be activated. You see here my domain. It is ready. I will copy and meanwhile I will store it here so that we can use it later on. Correct. Also, let's go to our SE09 section so that we can understand it better. There is my SE09. Go back and click on display button. This is my pack. This is my transport request here, correct? Which we have created. Open this folder. Open the mini folder out of it. What are the things we are seeing here? Everyone,
Package and
package and
domain.
domain. Are these the
Package.
two things that we have created till now? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So if you open this package, there is my package, double click on it. It will take you directly to there and you can see everything. So this is another benefit of having the transport request. We can directly check all the components that we have created here and we can directly navigate to them. Then we have domain. This is just the domain which we created, employee ID, correct? So similarly, for each and every of our column, we will create employee name. It is character 40. So let's go there. Here I will give employee name, create. The short description is employee name. Data type is character 40 and save it. Package and request and then activate it. So there is my another domain. It is ready. I will copy and here I will store it. Then let's go for the third one. Department. It is saying character 40 again. So let's create it again. SE11, a name. So I will give here a name, let's say domain for department, create department, short description I'm giving. I will pass a data type here, character and 40. save it, and I will activate it. Object must be in active status. I'm saying the same thing, otherwise we can't use it. So copy, and I will store it here. Fourth column is manager. Manager is character 30. So here we will have domain as manager and create it. The short description is manager. Data type, here we will have character and 30. Then save it and activate it. There we have the next domain manager. It is ready, and we will paste it here. Now we will move on to next component, which is salary. What is the data type you are seeing here? Focus on it.
Currency.
Currency. Very important word here and important note point. So there are two important and special data types, currency. So for currency data type, there will always need a reference field. Why do I need a reference field now? So to understand it better, suppose I want to store the amount values. Suppose I want to store the amount values, correct? So I want to store the amount values. Now, if I'm just writing here 100, I'm just writing here 100. The question will arise in our mind, yes or no, that whether it is US dollar or it is INR or it is euro or whatever the currency it is. This question will arise or not if I am talking about amount,
Yes, sir.
correct?
Yes.
If
Yes.
somebody is saying I am going to pay you 100, the only question that you will ask, what is the amount, what is the currency you are asking about, whether it is 100 USD, INR or euro, whatever you want, what is the exact currency it is, right? So reference is mandatory. So for this currency field also, here we are required to tell the system what will be the exact, will be the reference of it, reference field of it, reference. So for currency field, quantity fields are used. Quantity fields are used. So quantity fields are used to store, better you can understand here, the unit of the amount, store the reference value. Is it clear why we need it, everyone? So
Mm,
two important
For
things,
currency,
currency and quantity. Two things are very important. Quantity will store the reference of it for the currency fields. That is why I have taken a two columns where we can understand it in a better format. Here I want to store salary. Salary means amount values. So for amount, we need to pass the reference, right? So for reference, I've given an extra column currency where I will be storing the exact currency of my salary, whether I'm getting the salary in US dollar or INR or any other currency, whatever it is. And this will be acting as a reference for this amount value. So the currency field will always ask for the reference from the quantity. This is the SAP terminology. The basic way to understand is take the example of amount so that you can understand it easily. Now is it okay? Hmm?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, right.
So,
Tell me.
like, like for every currency field, we have to give the quantity field as
Yes,
a
it is
fields.
mandatory.
Okay.
We'll come to that. Okay. Right
Yeah.
now, let's create it first. So salary, it is asking here we have the decimal values up to 2 decimal point. So I'll create another domain. This domain, I will make it salary, create salary, a short description. The data type I want is CURR. There it is, currency field. I'll select and I'll give here 7 up to 2 decimal format. Save it and activate it. There is my salary date domain. The last one is our currency. So we can directly go for it. So currency. In the currency, what we want the CUKY. All right. So create it. The currency data type. I will select the quantity. CUKY. Currency key here for currency field. See, automatically the system has given it. This is the currency key for the currency field. Whenever you are using the currency field, for their reference, you are required to use this quantity field. This quantity is currency key for the currency field. So this will be used as a reference. We will see how to pass that. But right now, let's create our domain first. I will save and I will activate. Right. So there is my domain. Total 6 column. Any confusion here till now how to create domain,
No.
No, sir.
right? Once this domain is ready, we know data element tells how the column will be visible to the end user, and we are going to store the domains directly inside the data element along with a field label. So let's start creating the data element. I'll go to S11. Data type will be used to create a data element. So one by one, we will create here data element, employee ID, let's say 02, create it. Okay, it is already there, 03. Yeah. As soon as you will click on create button on the data type radio button, you see 3 types of data type are there. We will come to these 2 components later on. Right now, focus on data element, select it and go for OK button. This is for my employee ID. You see here it is asking for domain. So you can simply use your created domain. There is my domain which I have created. I will copy and I will paste it here. Also, you can use the built-in types. Means automatically you can directly pass the data type and length, or you can go for domains, totally up to you. So we will add the domain and then there is the field label. That label will be visible to our customer for this particular column. So I will pass here the labels which I want to be displayed. ID and save it. Then activate it. So there we have got our data element, first data element employee ID ready to be used. So once it is ready, one by one, we will store everything here. Employee ID. Second is employee name. So for that also, I'll copy my domain first. Where is my domain? There it is. Employee name. And go back to SE11. Select the data type. Give a name. Create data element. And here I will give a short description, employee name. Paste your domain. Go for field label. Give a meaningful field label that you want to be displayed for the end user and save it. and activate it again. Activation is mandatory. Now it is active. I will copy this name and I will store it. Third one, department. So let's go and create this. Back department here. Create it. Data element. This is for short description department. I will paste the domain. Here my field label as usual. I will copy and paste. Save it. Package and request and activate it. So my data element is ready. Now once this is also ready, we will paste this. Fourth one, manager. I will go back and here I can just pass another data element manager. Create it. Data element manager. Domain we will paste. Again field label. A meaningful field label for each and every column. Save it and activate it. Right. So data element I will copy and I will go and paste it here. Then my salary and currency. So this one S11 name. So salary. And field label is salary here. And activate it. Now it is activated. Copy and paste it here. The last one is currency field. So you can just copy. You go to S11 and here it is currency. So create it. Currency. Paste the domain. And we can pass the labels. So label and activate it. Right. So there is my data element for salary and currency, which we have created. Everyone, is it okay?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Right. So these two things that should always arise in our mind. What will be the domain and data element? Finalize it first, then create it. Now you can go for the creation of table. So I will go back to S11 and here I will select the database table radio button, my employee table, and let's say 03. I will go for create button. So this is going to take me through the table section. Short description, I will pass my employee header table. Then we have the delivery class here. Very, very important. Delivery class. You click on the F4 help. This delivery class specifies what kind of data will be stored and what kind of data will be delivered to the customer. Whether it is a master or transaction data, whether it is a customizing data given by SAP or your customer, maintenance only by the customer, not any data from SAP import. This is for local import only. You see here. So lots of delivery classes are there. Mostly around 99% cases or around over 95% cases, we only go for master and transactional data. Master data is a unique type of data. Everybody have some idea of master and transaction data. Divya, what is master and transaction data here? Types of data in SAP system. Master data, a type of data which is accessed very frequently, and changed very rarely, correct? For example, employee data, you can, very simple example. You can just give here employee data, employee data. Every month, your company accesses your data via the employee ID. They check what is your salary and they are going to do the credit of that amount, right? Every month they do. So employee data is a master data. But is your employee ID is going to change every month? Yes or no? Will your employee
No.
ID? Definitely it will not change. So it is
No.
accessed very frequently and changed very rarely. Second data, transactional data. A type of data,
It changes.
yes, which is accessed very frequently and frequently and changed on a on a continuous manner, and the new records gets added continuously, continuously, continuously. Wait a second. Continuously. Okay, whatever it is, let it be. So the new data gets added a record continuously. Example, you can say here banking transaction. You see how many transaction every person is doing, how many UPI payment everyone is doing regularly, correct? New data is getting added. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Right? Last one is customizing or configuration data. So customizing data, mainly three types of data are there. So based on the business needs and customer requirement, this type is specified. That's why generally I said most of the time you are going to see master and transactional data we will be creating here. Second one, data browser and table view editing. So select it. Here you are going to specify whether you want to allow for the maintenance of data in the system or not. Maintenance means create, update, and delete. So yes, I want to allow the maintenance so that I can create and maintain the data. Everybody also can see the data of the table. Yeah, everybody can see the data in the table. Yeah, right.
Yes.
Next one is our field section. So go to the field section here. Here you are required to specify what will be the technical name of your columns and what will be their corresponding data element. What will be the corresponding data element? So that is the thing here. Let me just start with that. Client number. So let me just come to our creation of table. Very first one here. Client number. To specify the table as a client dependent table, table, we always have the client number as the first column. First column. Again, I am saying to specify the table as client dependent. If you do not want it, then no need to add it. But to specify the table as a client dependent table, you will have a client number as the first column. The default data element or the standard data element for client number is MANDT. It is a standard data element given by SAP. Now go back to your sales order header table that we have opened long ago and see the very first column. What you see here? What it is? It is client number. It is only
Mandate.
used to specify the system that it is a client dependent table. We can't store, so we cannot store any data into this column. We can't store directly any data into this column. Automatically, the client number will be fetched and stored into it. Fetched and stored into it. That is the thing. Second thing, there is a recommendation from SAP. All your primary keys should always be at the start of the columns. So you will always see all the primary keys should always be in the top or in the start. There will not be any primary key in the middle, right? So this is our case. Very first column will be client dependent, client number MANDT, and its corresponding data element is MANDT, right? Then one by one, we will give our column names and their corresponding data elements which we created. This is my employee ID. I will go and pass here employee ID, a technical name. Employee underscore ID is there. There cannot be any space in between. So here I'm giving underscore ID. Or you can, if you want, you can give any technical name based on your choice. I'm giving this EMP underscore ID. Here I'll paste my data element. Then I will give employee name. I will copy and paste the corresponding data element of it. Then department, I will paste the department data element for it. Manager, I will paste the manager data element for it. Manager. Salary, salary data element. Currency here, then currency data element. So these are the columns, right? Now I will check what was the primary key my system wanted. So there is first to be the primary key here. You see, MNDT is by default primary key in every table you are going to see. Main primary key I have is my employee ID. So I will select it and I will save it. Package and request as usual. Now I will go for technical setting here. Now I will go for technical setting. So another note point, technical setting in a table. Here, two important things we use. So we provide the technical settings for our table in this section. First one is our data class, and the second one that we have is our size category. Data class and size category. Here we specify what will be the, or where exactly inside our database the table will be stored. The table data will be stored. In the size category section, we specify how much data we can store in this table. Based on the requirement, you are going to select them accordingly. So if I go for this technical setting here, you see data class and size category. So data class, again, you can select any one of them. Mostly we have the transparent or master or transactional data. So based on your requirement, you can either go for APPL 0 or APPL 1. But rest of these things are mainly for BW section, for analytical and customizing part. For development, mostly you will be seeing APPL 0 and APPL 1 only. So I will select APPL 0. Then size category is there. So you can select how many data you want to be stored in this table at max. My minimum requirement can be specified with this 0. I can store data up to this much. So I'll select it and I will save it. This is the minimum technical setting you are required to pass. Rest everything we will discuss one by one in the later section. Then go back. Now check for the syntax. Everyone, focus on it. Can you see this error? What it is saying? What it is saying? Specify the reference table and reference field for which column?
03
Salary.
salary. Salary.
For salary column, right? There is my salary column. We have passed this salary, but we are not
Yes.
specifying any reference. Automatically, this section has opened. Can you see it? So for this currency only, I told I have created this quantity field. It can belong from any other table also, or it can belong from the same table also, totally up to you. I have just created in the same table only. So I will copy this field name and I will paste here in the reference field section. And there is my reference table. So this field is there in which table? In this table only. So I'll copy its name and paste it. That is why first you pass the currency and quantity field, and also then tell the system which one is the quantity field or unit for this currency field. Now you check for the error. Save it and check for the error. Is there any error? What you see now? No inconsistency found, right? Check for it again. No error. So now you can activate it and your table is created. Compare this table with any of the standard table. Is it similar or not? Is it similar or not? Check
Yes.
it, right?
Yes.
Once this table is created, now you can start storing and managing the data. You can just go for here, uh, edit, sorry, not edit, wait a second. Utilities, table content and create entries. That is why I have given here display maintenance allowed, so that I can maintain the data also in this table. So I will go for utilities, table content and create entry. And see this MNDT automatically filled the data, and it is also there in non-change mode, right? Can you see it? We can't change it. It is only in read format. So I can pass here my employee ID, my employee name here, whatever I want to store. A department, I can give, let's say, ABAP development. I can give here the manager name as me or any other person. Salary is suppose some 10,000 and euro. And I will save it. Database record successfully created. So now if I go back and if I click on this content and if I execute it, can you see it? There is my data